The story begins in a small classroom on Earth, inside a school that was famous for one thing: sending students to the Death World trials. Every year many students failed. Some never returned. But the government still forced every young person to take the test. In this class sat a boy named Aaron Hale. He was always silent. He always sat at the last desk near the window. He never talked to anyone, not even when someone asked him a question. Most students did not hate him, they simply ignored him. They believed Aaron was too quiet, too soft, too weak. Many students thought he would be the first one to die in the trials. Even the teachers looked at him with sad eyes as if they already knew his fate. Aaron did not react to anything. He just listened quietly as if he was waiting for something. One cold morning, everything changed. The classroom door opened and the principal walked in with two soldiers. Their uniforms were dark and their faces were serious. Everyone went silent. Even those who liked to joke around stopped smiling. The air felt heavy. The principal cleared his throat and said, "Students, today is the day. You will face the Death World trials." Gasps filled the room. A girl started crying softly. A boy clenched his fists. Many students turned pale. Everyone knew the trials were dangerous. Everyone knew the trials killed. But Aaron simply blinked once. Nothing more. The principal continued, "You will be transported in 1 hour. Pack your basic gear. Remember, survival is your responsibility." The moment the principal left, the room exploded with noise. Oh no, I'm not ready. We're going to die. This is crazy." A group of boys in the front laughed nervously. One of them looked back at Aaron and said loudly, "Hey, the quiet guy will not last even 1 minute." Everyone laughed. Aaron didn't. He simply closed his notebook. As he did, the sunlight from the window hit his eyes. For a second, only a second, his eyes showed a tiny glow like a small ember hidden under ashes. No one noticed. No one ever did. Aaron stood up, picked up his small bag and walked out of the room without a word. The transport station. The students gathered outside the school where huge metal buses waited. Each bus had the symbol of the Galaxy Defense Authority, the group that designed the Death World trials. Soldiers checked each student's ID. As Aaron approached, the scanner beeped strangely. The soldier frowned, looked at Aaron, then checked again. Again the scanner beeped in an unusual way. The soldier narrowed his eyes. "Strange reading," he muttered. Aaron simply looked down. After a moment, the soldier shook his head and let him pass. Inside the bus, students kept talking in fear. Some prayed. Some argued. Some were completely silent. Aaron sat alone as always near another window. He watched the sky as the bus lifted into the air. Clouds rushed past. Then the bus entered a large military ship waiting in the upper atmosphere. Inside the ship, everything felt cold and metallic. Walls were covered in warning signs. Sirens flashed red. A digital voice echoed, "Prepare for planetary entry. Death World Gamma 9. Estimated danger level, extreme." Students screamed again. Aaron didn't even blink. Entering the Death World. The ship shook violently as it entered the Death World's atmosphere. Flames covered the windows. Thunder roared outside. But Aaron sat still, his hands relaxed on his knees. His heartbeat was steady, too steady for a normal human. When the ship finally landed, the doors opened with a loud hiss. Smoke, dust, and a strange green light filled the air. The sky was dark purple. The wind carried a deep, heavy sound, as if something huge was breathing in the distance. One boy stepped outside and whispered, What is this place?" The ground shook. Boom. Something massive moved far away, hidden behind a forest of sharp, black trees. The shadow of the creature was bigger than a building. Students began to panic, pushing each other, running without direction. A teacher shouted, "Stay together. Everyone stay." But he stopped speaking. His eyes widened in terror. From the forest, two glowing eyes appeared. The creature stepped forward, slowly, heavily, and the earth trembled with every step. Its skin was rough like stone. Its claws were long, dripping with green liquid. Its chest rose and fell with deep, monstrous breaths. Students screamed. Some fell to the ground. Some ran blindly into the trees. But Aaron did not move at all. He simply watched. His eyes reflected the creature's glowing light, and this time the glow in his own eyes was stronger, clearer. The creature let out a deafening roar. Nrnrware. Everyone covered their ears. Everyone, except Aaron. He whispered so quietly that no one heard. "It begins." The camera, for YouTube style, would fade out here, leaving the audience wondering, why is Aaron so calm? Why are his eyes glowing? What secret has he been hiding? And why did the death world feel like it was waiting for him? The giant creature stood at the edge of the forest, its glowing eyes locked on the group of students. The ground cracked under its heavy body. Every breath it took made the air vibrate. Its long claws dragged across the stones, leaving deep marks. Most of the students were frozen in fear. Some hid behind rocks. Others cried openly, shaking so hard they could barely stand. But Aaron, he simply watched. Even the teachers were terrified. One of them pulled out a flare gun, his hand trembling. "Don't move," he shouted, pointing the small weapon at the massive alien. But everyone knew it was useless. A flare gun would not stop something like that. The creature stepped forward again. Boom, boom, boom. With each step, the shockwaves pushed dust into the air. A student named Rico fell on the ground and screamed, "It's coming for us. Run, run." And that was the moment everything broke apart. Students began running in all directions, ignoring the teachers, ignoring the orders to stay together. They spread across the dark forest like frightened animals. The teachers tried to follow them, but the creature moved too fast. In one short jump, it landed only a few meters away from the group. Its roar shook the sky. Neural air. Bird-like creatures exploded from the treetops and flew away in panic. A girl near Aaron cried loudly, dropping her bag. "Help! Somebody help!" She tried to run, but her foot twisted on a rock. She collapsed to the ground, clutching her ankle. The monster turned its head toward her. Its pupils narrowed. It smelled weakness. It charged. The girl screamed, covering her head with her arms. She thought this was her last moment. But right as the creature swung its claw, Aaron moved. He did not run. He did not hesitate. He simply stepped forward like he was taking a calm walk. His hand shot out and grabbed the girl's arm, pulling her back in one smooth motion. Then in the same second he ducked under the creature's claw. The massive hand missed him by inches and smashed into the ground behind them. Crack! Rocks flew everywhere. The girl stared at Aaron with wide eyes, shocked. You moved so fast." Aaron didn't answer. He just helped her stand. The creature growled and turned toward them again. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of sharp teeth. Green acid dripped from its jaw and burned the ground. The girl tried to step back but winced in pain. I can't run." Aaron looked at her with calm eyes. "Stay behind me." His voice was soft, almost gentle. But something in his tone made her stop crying. She felt safe for the first time since landing on this planet. The monster charged again. This time Aaron didn't dodge. He stepped forward. The creature swung its claw, fast, deadly, enough to cut a person in half. But Aaron lifted his arm and blocked it with his forearm. The impact sent dust everywhere. The girl gasped. The teachers froze. Even the creature looked confused. Aaron's arm didn't break. He didn't fall. He didn't even step back. Instead, he pushed the creature's claw aside with a small twist of his wrist. The giant beast stumbled to the side from the force. The girl whispered, What are you?" Aaron didn't turn. His eyes slowly began to glow again, brighter now, like a small blue flame inside them. The creature roared in anger and tried to attack again. It lifted both claws and came crashing down with double the strength. But Aaron vanished. One moment he was there. The next moment he was behind the creature. He moved faster than a normal human should. Faster than students could follow. Faster than the creature expected. The teachers watched in disbelief. What was that? Did he teleport? No, he moved. But how? The beast spun around wildly, confused. Aaron stood completely still, breathing softly. Then he whispered, "You're too slow." The creature roared in rage and attacked again. But Aaron didn't fight back. He simply moved out of the way, almost bored, letting the monster hit nothing but empty air. Slash. Miss. Stomp. Miss. Bite. Miss. Every time the monster struck, Aaron stepped aside with calm, graceful movements. It was like he knew every attack before it happened. The girls stared at him with fear and awe. The teachers couldn't understand what they were seeing. Aaron finally spoke quietly, almost to himself. "This world, it's testing us. Testing me." The creature lunged one final time. Aaron stepped forward, placed his hand on the creature's chest and pushed lightly. But the push was not normal. A wave of force erupted from his palm. Boom. The monster flew backward, crashing through trees and sliding across the ground. It was alive, but stunned. Completely shocked. Silence fell across the area. The students, scattered around the forest, peeked through the trees. They had seen flashes of the fight. They had seen the creature fall. And they saw the quiet boy standing tall, his eyes glowing softly, unhurt. Someone whispered, that was Aaron? The quiet kid? No way, no way, how can a human do that? Aaron looked around the forest, sensing something. He spoke softly, but everyone heard it. This is only the first creature. The real danger is coming. The camera, for YouTube style, would cut here, leaving the audience with a new mystery. If this was only the beginning, what else lives on the death world? And what exactly is Aaron? For a long moment, the forest stayed silent. No wind. No movement. Only the faint sound of the giant creature groaning somewhere far behind the broken trees. Students slowly came out from their hiding places. Some were shaking. Some had dirt on their clothes. Some still had tears on their faces. But all of them were staring at one person. Aaron. The quiet kid. The weak kid. The boy no one noticed. The boy who supposedly would die first. Now he stood in the center of the clearing, calm and steady, as if nothing unusual had happened. His eyes no longer glowed, but students remembered what they saw. A faint blue light inside them. A power they couldn't explain. The girl he saved limped forward, leaning on a tree. Her voice was soft but full of shock. You saved me. You fought that thing like it was nothing. Aaron looked at her. He didn't smile. He didn't act like a hero. He only said, "You injured your ankle. You need to keep weight off it." The girl blinked. She expected a thank you or a joke or at least some emotion. But Aaron sounded like a doctor giving instructions to a patient. Before she could say more, one of the teachers finally found his voice. "Ich, how did you do that?" he shouted. That creature was Class B danger. Even soldiers struggle against those things. Students gathered around, whispering. It flew backward. He moved too fast. No human can block a hit like that. Aaron didn't answer. Instead, he looked toward the darker part of the forest. Something felt wrong. He could sense movement. Not from one creature. From many. He finally spoke, his voice calm but serious. "We need to leave this area. Now." A boy from the front of the crowd stepped up, angry and scared. He pointed at Aaron with shaking hands. Hold on. Who are you? What are you hiding? You're not normal." "Yeah," another boy shouted. "Did you cheat your way into the trials? Are you some kind of mutant?" Aaron's eyes lowered slightly. He didn't look angry. He looked tired, as if he had heard these questions many times before. "No," he said quietly. "I didn't cheat. And I'm not a mutant." "Then what are you?" the teacher asked. Aaron looked up at the sky. For a moment, everyone saw something in his eyes. A heavy memory. A past full of pain and training. And something darker. He finally answered. "I'm something the trials were made to find." Students exchanged confused looks. "What does that mean?" "Find? Why find you? Are the trials a trap?" Aaron didn't explain. Instead, he looked at the teacher. "Sir, please. We must move. There are more creatures coming." "How do you know?" the teacher asked. Aaron turned his head toward the forest. "I can hear them." Flashback, the training. For a brief second, Aaron's mind slipped into memory. He was younger, standing in a white training room. A voice echoed. "Again." Aaron punched a metal target. It dented. Again. He dodged a laser. Barely. Faster. His legs moved until smoke rose from the ground. Again. He fell. He got up. He fell. He got up again. A tall man in a black coat stood outside the training room. He watched Aaron grow stronger. He watched Aaron bleed. He watched Aaron fight impossible enemies. And every time Aaron failed, the man repeated one cold sentence. "You must survive the death world. For us." Aaron blinked and the memory vanished. Back on the death world. The forest rustled. Students turned pale. Something was coming. Not one creature. Not two. A whole pack. Deep, low growls echoed in the distance. Rapid footsteps thudded on the ground. Branches snapped violently. The death world was waking up. The teacher yelled, "Everyone, group up. We need to." But before he finished, a small creature, dark, wolf-like, with glowing teeth, jumped from the bushes and landed in front of the group. It snarled. Drool dripped from its jaw. Its eyes glowed red. Students screamed again. "Another one. We're dead. Someone do something." The creature crouched, ready to pounce. Aaron stepped forward. "No," the teacher said, "you're injured." But Aaron wasn't listening. His steps were silent. His hands relaxed. His eyes slowly started glowing again. The wolf-like creature launched itself at him. Aaron raised one hand and caught the creature by the throat mid-air. The students gasped. The creature struggled, clawing, biting, thrashing its legs. Aaron didn't even flinch. He squeezed softly. Crack. The creature fell limp. Aaron dropped it to the ground. More growls echoed behind the trees, 5, 6, maybe more. We're surrounded, someone shouted. No, Aaron said softly, not yet. He closed his eyes. He listened. He could hear the pack approaching. He could feel their heat signatures. He could sense where they would attack from. He opened his eyes again. We move now, he said. To higher ground. The teacher asked, why higher ground? Aaron looked into the forest with calm, deadly eyes. Because the hunters are coming. And they're much stronger than these. The wind blew softly, carrying distant roars. The students felt cold. Aaron walked forward, taking the lead. The quiet kid was no longer in the back of the class. He was now the only reason any of them were still alive. The group followed Aaron as he led them through the dark forest. The sky above was still a strange purple color, and the air smelled like burning metal. Every step they took made the ground crack slightly, as if something beneath the surface was alive. Students walked close together, too scared to speak loudly. They watched the trees, afraid something would jump out again. Aaron walked first, silent as always. His eyes kept scanning the area. His footsteps made almost no sound. Even the teachers followed him now because they had no choice. He was the only one who could sense the dangers before they appeared. One of the teachers, Mr. Lien, finally whispered, Aaron, what exactly is coming? Aaron didn't stop walking. He didn't turn to look at him. The creatures before were scouts, he said quietly. Small, weak, fast. But they are not the real threat. The girl with the hurt ankle asked softly, then what is the real threat? Aaron finally slowed down and pointed toward a tall rocky hill ahead. Hunters, he said. Death World hunters. A boy gulped. They hunt us. Aaron nodded. They hunt anything that moves. Anything with heat. Anything that breathes. The forest fell silent again. Only the distant rumbling of thunder echoed through the trees. Reaching high ground. The group reached the base of the rocky hill. It wasn't tall, but it was steep. The stones were sharp and climbing looked difficult. Still, Aaron began climbing without hesitation. Students followed, struggling. Some slipped on the stones, but the teachers helped them up. Halfway up, the injured girl almost fell, but Aaron reached out and grabbed her wrist before she hit the ground. His grip was strong and steady. Thank you, she said, breathing hard. Aaron simply nodded. At the top of the hill, they could finally see the forest clearly, and what they saw made their blood turn cold. Glowing eyes. Many of them. Yellow, red, blue. Moving through the forest like small flickering lights. A whole pack of Death World hunters. They were bigger than the wolf creature from before. Their bodies were long and muscular, covered in dark armor-like skin. Their teeth glowed with some kind of energy. And the way they moved. Fast, silent, deadly. A teacher whispered, shaking in fear, Teeth, this is a hunting pack. Aaron's voice was calm. They travel in groups of 10. Sometimes 12. One boy screamed, there are more than 20. Aaron didn't look surprised. Yes, this planet adapts. It evolves. The students watched the hunters spread out. They sniffed the air. They moved closer. Aaron turned to the group. Do not move suddenly. Do not scream. Do not run. Running only draws them faster. Someone whispered, but we can't just stay here. They'll climb the hill. No, Aaron said. Hunters don't climb. They circle first. They study. They wait for the weakest one to panic. Everyone looked at each other nervously. Who is the weakest? Someone asked quietly. Before anyone could answer, a sharp sound cut through the air. Click, click, click. It was the sound of hunters communicating. The pack had found their trail. The first strike. A hunter leaped from the shadows and slammed into the base of the hill, shaking the ground. Students screamed. The teachers grabbed them. The creature lifted its head and stared up at them. Its mouth opened wide, revealing rows of glowing teeth. The girl with the hurt ankle whispered, terrified, Aaron, they're coming? Aaron stepped forward. No, he said. They're testing us. The hunter roared and jumped again, this time halfway up the hill. Rocks broke under its claws. Some students panicked and tried to climb further up. Stay together. Mr. Lien shouted. Aaron moved to the edge of the cliff and looked down. His eyes glowed faint blue again. The hunter growled, preparing for another jump. And then, it jumped. Straight at Aaron. Students screamed his name. Aaron. Watch out. Move. But Aaron didn't move. Not until the creature was only a meter away. Then he stepped to the side and grabbed the hunter by its neck midair. The entire beast stopped like it hit a wall. Aaron twisted and threw the creature hard into the ground below. Boom. Dust exploded everywhere. The hunter screeched in pain. 2 more hunters charged toward the hill. Aaron spoke, his voice steady. "They're coming faster now. They know we're here." A teacher shouted, "We need a plan. We can't fight all of them." Aaron nodded. "You're right. You can't." The teacher stared at him. "But you can?" Aaron looked at the forest. "I can slow them down. That's all." Students went silent. He wasn't bragging. He wasn't trying to sound strong. He was just stating a fact. But even slowing down a full hunter pack was something unbelievable for a human. The strange signal. Before Aaron could move again, something strange happened. A sharp beep echoed from the sky. Everyone looked up. A drone, shiny, metallic, with blue wings, was watching them from above. A government drone. Aaron's eyes narrowed. The drone scanned the hill, focusing on Aaron. A red light blinked. Aaron whispered under his breath, "They're watching me. They always watch when my power activates." The drone beeped again and flew away. The students looked at Aaron in fear. "Why is the government watching you? Are you part of something? What are you hiding?" Aaron didn't answer. He turned back to the forest where the hunters were closing in. He spoke quietly, eyes glowing brighter. "We survive this first. Then I'll explain." The wind grew colder. The hunters started running. The ground shook with their speed. The hunt had truly begun. The Deathworld hunters were closing in fast. Their growls echoed through the forest, bouncing off the trees like a warning. Dust swirled in the air as more creatures moved between the shadows, spreading out, surrounding the hill from every side. Students huddled together at the top, shaking. Some held onto each other. Some covered their ears. Some stared at Aaron with desperate eyes, hoping he would somehow save them again. Aaron stood at the edge of the rocky hill, looking down calmly at the approaching pack. Mr. Lien finally broke the silence. "Aaron, if you have something we need to know, you must tell us now. Why is the government watching you? Why are you so calm here? What is really happening?" The students turned to Aaron, waiting for answers. Aaron didn't look back. His eyes stayed on the forest. "The trials are not what you think," he said slowly. "They are not only a test. They are a selection. A search." "A search?" a boy repeated. "For what?" Aaron finally looked over his shoulder. "For people like me." A wave of confusion spread through the group. "People like you? You mean superhumans? Mutants? Experiments?" Aaron shook his head. "No, not mutants. Not experiments. Something older. Something planned long before we were born." The girl with the injured ankle swallowed hard. You said these trials were made to find you. What does that mean?" Aaron took a deep breath. His voice was calm, but there was heaviness in it. "The government knows the galaxy is changing. New threats are coming. Strong ones. Smarter ones. The trials were created to find the rare humans who can survive them. Humans with natural adaptation. Natural power." Someone whispered, "Are you saying we're being used?" Aaron nodded. "Yes. The trials are not to train us. They are to identify us." He pointed at himself. "I was identified before I could even speak." The group stared shocked. Mr. Lien shook his head. "But that makes no sense. Why keep something like this secret?" Aaron's eyes darkened. "Because the world is not ready. Because most humans would panic if they knew how many alien species are watching us. How many are preparing for war." A cold wind blew across the hill. Students held their breath. Aaron continued, "The death worlds are not natural planets. They are artificial. Created long ago. They change themselves to match the person who enters. They evolve. They test weaknesses. They push the limits of every human who steps on them. They change, for us," someone whispered. "Yes." Mr. Lien asked, "Then this world, is it reacting to you?" Aaron's eyes flickered with faint blue light. "Yes. Because it recognizes me." The forest shook. Growls grew louder. Hunters approached from 3 different directions now. Mr. Lien stepped forward, desperate. "Aaron, if this planet reacts to you, if these trials are designed to force your power out, what does the government want with you?" Aaron finally turned fully toward them. "To prepare me, and others like me, for the war they know is coming." Gasps filled the air. A girl whispered, "Or with who?" Aaron looked toward the sky. Something far worse than Deathworld creatures. Something that destroys entire planets. Something that has defeated human colonies before. The students froze. You knew this all along? The teacher asked quietly. Aaron nodded. Yes, I was trained for it, raised for it. And the trials are just the first step. Before anyone could ask more, the forest exploded with violent movement. The hunters appeared. The hunters attack. 7 hunters charged from the left. 3 more from the right. Another 4 from the back. Claws scraped stone. Teeth glowed with bright energy. Growls mixed into one terrifying sound. Students backed away terrified. Aaron, they're coming. Do something. Please? Aaron stepped forward, placing himself between the group and the hunters. His eyes slowly glowed brighter, blue, sharp, inhuman. He whispered to himself. They're not here to hunt the students. They're here to test me. A hunter leaped. Aaron caught it by the jaw and slammed it into the ground. Crack. Another jumped. Aaron dodged and kicked it off the cliff. 3 more jumped at once. Aaron spun, grabbed 2 by the neck, and used their bodies as shields against the third. The students watched with wide, terrified eyes. He moved too fast, too precise, almost like he had trained for this fight all his life. Aaron's breathing stayed calm. His movements stayed controlled. He was not fighting for survival. He was fighting like someone who knew exactly how strong he was. One of the boys whispered. He isn't human? The injured girl shook her head. No, he is human. Just not normal like us. The hunters tried again, circling him, trying to find a weakness. Aaron's voice echoed softly across the hill. You can't win. You're not the real threat. Just another step in the trial. The largest hunter roared and lunged. Aaron's eyes glowed fully now, bright, blue, powerful. He stepped forward, and the ground cracked beneath his foot. He punched the hunter in the chest. A shockwave exploded outward. Boom. Trees bent. Dust flew into the air. Students stumbled backward. The hunter slid across the ground, unconscious. Silence returned. The surviving hunters backed away, growling softly, frightened for the first time. They disappeared into the forest. The warning. Aaron turned back to the students. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't proud. He looked worried. He spoke quietly. This trial is only the beginning. When we reach the core of this world, we will find the real reason the trials exist. He looked at the sky again. And the truth will change everything you know about humanity. A cold chill passed through everyone. The hunt was over. But something far more dangerous was waiting ahead. The forest was quiet again, but it was not a peaceful silence. It was the silence that comes before something worse. Students gathered close together at the top of the rocky hill. Their faces were pale. Their clothes were torn. Their breathing was fast. But every pair of eyes watched only one person. Aaron Hale. The quiet boy who never spoke. The quiet boy who never joined group work. The quiet boy everyone ignored. Now he stood in the center of the hill, covered in dust, surrounded by broken stones, his eyes still faintly glowing blue. He looked less like a student, and more like a weapon. Mr. Lien stepped toward him carefully as if Aaron might suddenly explode. Aaron, what or who created you? Aaron didn't answer. Instead, he turned toward the deeper part of the forest. His expression changed, subtle, tense. He whispered, "We need to move. Now." Before the students could react, a loud cracking sound echoed from the forest floor. Crack. The earth trembled. Not like before. Not lightly. The shake made everyone fall to their knees. A girl screamed, "What is happening now?" Aaron's eyes narrowed. He could feel the ground pulsing. Then the forest floor burst open. Dark soil exploded upward. Trees snapped in half. Rocks flew like bullets. Students screamed and ducked. And then it came. A creature larger than any they had seen so far. 4 times the size of the hunters. Covered in bone-like armor. Massive claws glowing with red energy. A jaw with teeth shaped like spears. Its roar shook the sky. No or rare air. Even Aaron's hair blew back from the force. Mr. Lien shouted, "A Titan-class beast. That's impossible. They only appear in final trial levels." Students panicked. "We're dead. How do we fight that?" "This is the end." Aaron stepped forward. His voice calm. "No, it's not." The Titan creature's eyes locked onto him. It growled, a low rumbling sound that shook the stones beneath their feet. The beast recognized him. Almost as if it had been waiting just for him. The injured girl whispered, terrified, "It's staring at Aaron?" One boy answered, trembling. "It knows he's the strongest. It wants to kill him first." Aaron didn't look back at the students. He didn't even warn them to run. He simply said, "Stay behind me." The Titan attacks. The creature lifted its massive arm and slammed it down at the hill. Boom. The ground shattered. Rocks flew everywhere. Students rolled, trying to hold on to something. But Aaron didn't move. He watched the giant claw descend toward him. At the very last moment, he jumped. But this time he didn't move like a human. He moved like a blur. A streak of blue light shot upward. Students gasped as they lost track of him in the air. Aaron reappeared above the Titan's head. Too high for a normal human jump. He twisted his body and smashed his foot into the Titan's skull. Boom! The Titan roared in pain and staggered backward, cracking the ground with its steps. Aaron landed lightly on his feet, breathing calmly. Students stared in shock. Did he just jump that high? That's not human. He's like a soldier from Legends. The Titan shook its head and charged again. Aaron ran forward, straight at it. The creature swung a massive claw, but Aaron slid under it, sparks flying as his feet scraped the stones. He punched the Titan's knee hard. Crack. The creature stumbled, collapsing to one side. Aaron didn't stop. He jumped again, spinning in the air, and hit the Titan's jaw with a glowing kick. The beast roared, spit flying, red light flickering inside its throat. It was getting angry. Very angry. The Titan's true power. The Titan suddenly dug its claws into the ground. Aaron's eyes widened. "Get down," he shouted. But his warning was too late. A wave of red energy exploded from the Titan's body. Students were thrown backward. Teachers crashed into rocks. Trees snapped like matchsticks. Aaron rolled across the ground but quickly stood up again. Dust covered the hill. Students coughed and cried. "Aaron, are you still alive? Where is he? Is he okay?" A sharp blue light appeared in the smoke. Then another. Aaron stepped out, his eyes glowing brighter than ever. He wiped blood from his lip. "I see," he whispered. "It's using core energy." Mr. Lien shouted, "What does that mean?" Aaron answered, "It means I don't have to hold back anymore." His voice was still calm, but something inside it had changed. Something powerful. Aaron unleashed. Aaron stepped forward. The ground cracked under his foot. Blue threads of energy spread across his skin, glowing brighter and brighter, wrapping around him like tiny lightning bolts. The students gasped. "What is he? How is he glowing?" "He looks like a weapon." Aaron clenched his fists. The air around him vibrated. His voice was soft, almost sad. "I didn't want to use this. But we have no choice." The Titan roared and charged. Aaron vanished. Not jumped. Not dodged. Vanished. A heartbeat later. He reappeared on the Titan's shoulder, glowing with blue flame-like energy. Students screamed in shock. He teleported. No, he moved too fast to see. He's not even human anymore. Aaron whispered. Fall. A brilliant blue explosion shot from his fist, straight into the Titan's armored skull. Boom. The shockwave shook the entire hill. Birds flew from miles away. A crater formed beneath the beast. The Titan fell to the ground. Dead. Silence followed. Students stared, shaking, covered in dust, unable to believe what they saw. Aaron landed softly, his eyes slowly fading back to normal. But he knew something. The trials were watching him. The government was watching him. The world itself was watching him. He whispered. "They forced my power out too early." Mr. Lien stepped forward. "Aaron, what happens now?" Aaron looked toward the dark horizon. His voice quiet. "We go to the center of the death world. That is where the truth waits. And the real enemy." A cold wind blew. The Titan was dead. But the true trial had only begun. The Titan lay dead behind them, its huge body cracked open, glowing red energy leaking into the ground. Students stared at it with wide eyes, still trembling from the shock. But Aaron didn't look back. He was staring at the dark horizon, the part of the death world where no trees grew, where the sky turned black, and where the ground seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. The core zone. Mr. Lien walked up beside him, limping slightly. "Aaron, is that the center of this world?" Aaron nodded slowly. "Yes. That's where the trials are controlled. Where everything is monitored. And where the true enemy waits." The students' fear turned into confusion. "Enemy? I thought this planet was the enemy." "You mean there's something else? Why are we even here?" Aaron finally spoke, his voice quiet but steady. "Because this world was built to test humanity. But not by humans." The group froze. "Not by humans? Then by who?" Aaron didn't answer with words. He simply started walking toward the core zone. And everyone followed. the core zone. As they walked, the ground changed beneath their feet. The dirt became darker. The air became colder. The sky changed from purple to deep black. A strange humming sound echoed everywhere, like machines hidden under the earth. No more creatures attacked them. Not even small ones. But this didn't calm anyone. It only made them more afraid. The silence was too perfect. The injured girl whispered, "Aaron, why are there no monsters here?" Aaron kept walking. "Because we have reached the real challenge," he said. "And the real challenge doesn't need creatures." A metallic gate suddenly rose from the ground in front of them. Smooth. Black. Massive. Students gasped. "What is this?" "It looks like a doorway." "To what?" Aaron approached the gate. The moment he touched it, it glowed blue, the same color as his eyes. "Aaron," Mr. Lien whispered, "it reacts to you?" "Yes," Aaron said softly. "It always has." With a deep rumbling sound, the gate opened. Inside was a long corridor, glowing with blue lights, covered in alien symbols. The students hesitated. Aaron walked straight in. Inside the core. The corridor led to a huge circular chamber. Massive pillars surrounded a shining orb floating in the center. The orb pulsed like a living heart. Students stared in awe. "What is that? Some kind of machine?" "No, it feels alive." Aaron walked toward the orb. He didn't look surprised. He didn't look confused. He looked like someone returning to a place he already knew. Mr. Lien put a hand on his shoulder. "Aaron, please, explain. We deserve to know what is happening." Aaron turned. His face was calm but sad. This world, and many others like it, were created by an ancient alien race. A race that studies life across the galaxy. A race that pushes life to its limits to find those strong enough to fight against something dark. Students exchanged fearful looks. Something dark. You mean another alien race? What kind? Aaron looked at the glowing orb. Yes, the one race that even they feared. A species that destroys entire planets. A species that grows stronger with every world it kills. He stepped closer to the orb. The trials were built to find humans who can survive that enemy. To awaken their hidden potential. Mr. Lien swallowed hard. That hidden potential is your power, isn't it? Aaron nodded. I was chosen as a child. Taken, trained, shaped, and sent here to prove I am ready. The group fell silent, hearing the truth for the first time. And us? Someone asked quietly. What about us? Why are we here? Aaron turned slowly. Because one day, humanity will need more than one fighter. His words hit them like a shock. You're not here to die, he said. You're here to awaken too. Maybe not like me, but in your own way. Strength comes in many forms. The students stared at him, confused, but also hopeful. The real enemy speaks. Suddenly, the orb changed color. From blue to red. The room shook. A deep voice echoed from everywhere. Human identified. Power level, high. Activating final trial. Awaiting human response, ER3N project. Students stepped back in fear. It's talking. It knows Aaron. What is ER3N project? Aaron closed his eyes. That is my designation. Before he could explain, the orb shot a beam of red light at him. Aaron raised his arm and blocked it. The beam pushed him back, sliding his feet across the ground. Students screamed, Aaron, turn it off. He's going to die. But Aaron smiled slightly. No, this is the final test. His eyes glowed pure blue. He pushed back against the beam. The orb vibrated violently. Test complete. Human pass. Access granted. The beam stopped. The orb turned blue again. The room went silent. Aaron fell to one knee, breathing hard. But he was alive. Students ran to him, helping him stand. You passed. You did it. Is it over? Aaron looked up at the orb. No. This trial is over. He paused. But the real war is coming. The orb suddenly opened and revealed a hologram of the galaxy, thousands of stars, and a dark swarm moving across it like a shadow. The students stared in horror. What is that? It looks like an army. No, it looks alive. Aaron stood tall. That is the